Yo, good people, what's good? What's going on? You guys are listening to your mama's favorite podcast, your friend, whoever, The Statement. It's your boy Caleb Smith to the left, the man, the myth, the legend, my boy Tyrone. What's up with you, big man?
How's it going, everybody? Doing all right? Chilling.
My man, today we have some very cool topics. Government shutdown starting off first, man. Today's show's title is Surviving the Shutdown. So, Tyrone, you texted me last night. You said, man, let's talk about it. So, how do you feel about it?
So, the government shutdown, I feel like, is something that, I don't know, man. It's very divisive on both sides. Me, personally, because I see a lot of the blame going towards, the commander-in-chief, which, in due respect, he does have his part to play in this. But me, just from my observations of it all, I was thinking that, this is more than just one party or somebody doing their thing. Seems like a very bipartisan issue on this. Like, it seems like both sides to me have had opportunities to, if not in this, at least do
something.
Yeah, or alleviate the harm that's being done.
Facts.
But it seems like the identity politics and the tribalism is so strong right now that nobody wants to do anything. They just want their side to come out on top.
Yes, that's facts. And Vox, they just posted, because, we do research, we read. Vox, they posted the latest government shutdown was the longest in history, costing the U.S. billions of dollars and placing extreme hardship on hundreds of thousands of Americans, as Tyrone, he's already expressed that. And yet, President Donald Trump is apparently willing to do it all over again if he has to. In a recent interview on Sunday with CBS, Faces the Nation, top Trump advisor, his name is Mick Mulvaney, and he was asked if the president was prepared to enter yet another government shutdown in 3 weeks if his demands for funding on the border security are not met by then. And he said, yeah, I think he actually is. So what do you think about that?
Like I said, everybody just wants to be right. I feel like that's what it is, and people are willing to bring down whoever they need to.
It's crazy.
To make sure it goes their way. But what I don't think is they realize is that how many people, well, for one, how many people are affected by it, but for two, how many people who are affected by it and it doesn't change their political views at all.
Yeah. And I think, too, man, somebody told me this as well, was that really what people don't understand about this shutdown is that it doesn't just affect government workers per se. So the daycare owner, if they have a child that they put inside of daycare, they can't afford to pay that anymore. Gas stations, barbershops for like a haircut, hairdressers, whoever, like this doesn't just affect government workers. Like, this affects everybody. So that's crazy, man.
I was telling Caleb before the show that I had an experience here on campus.
I forgot about that. That's crazy.
Trying to resolve some issues for financial aid and things like that. And a lot of the requirements for financial aid requires tax forms and things like that. And they were having an unusual amount of backups and problems because people couldn't request their tax forms because the IRS was closed down.
Right. That's it.
It hits on multiple levels than just the people in Congress.
That's facts. So we'll see, man. But I think it's tough because at the end of the day, my only thing is sometimes, because Trump, he can just like wear you down. So for a second, I was just like, if he just gets this wall, is it really the end of the world? Because I think that now I'm at that stage because he's made it very apparent he is about that life. Like, everything that he proposed during his campaign, I will try to give him that one piece of credit. He has stuck to it to a T. But at the same time, what he said was that he was going to have the Mexicans, or Mexico, quote unquote, build the wall. Yeah. But now it's turning into U.S. dollars, and it's not what he advertised it for it to be. But at the same time, I'm just like, man, we might just have to hold that L and then over time try to fix it. But it's like right now, man, buddy, he might get his way. So
Trump reminds me of, and he reminds me of like that guy who's trying to get the girl, and she's just like, no. But he's like, you know what? If I'm persistent and I just keep giving her flowers and chocolate and compliments and all, eventually,
that's it.
I will mentally break her down, and she'll just have to at least give me a chance. And I feel like we are the girl being chased right now.
Yeah, that's big facts.
Trump is working his way out of the friend zone, basically.
He is.
But my thing about the wall I will say is, yes, it is some form of border security versus like the Democrats who aren't really proposing much of anything right now. I don't see that the wall is anything that would be proven to be effective.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be effective, I don't think it should be something that we should spend $5 billion on. Now, granted,
That's a lot of money.
I mean, granted, probably in the scale of what U.S.'s expenditures are, $5 billion probably isn't a lot, but $5 billion is still $5 billion.
That's something, man. And also, Tyrone, like on that same sentiment too. Why? Because, if this was like the 1300s or before that time, then a wall could be effective. But now you're trying to tell me that this is only going to be on the Mexico border or U.S. border as well. But these same people can make tunnels. These same people can go on airplanes. These same people can go through the Pacific Ocean, through the Atlantic, through the Gulf of Mexico. So it's like there's so many different other options. So just a wall isn't going to fix that. But perception is everything. So me personally, I believe that this wall represents people who are racist or some people who are just to the point that they don't want to be around other people, xenophobic somewhat. So that wall means to them get out or stay out. So
it's more of a symbol than an actual action plan.
I think so, because it's like a wall, bro.
Yeah.
Really? Wall.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but it's stupid. It's stupid. But, I mean, this kind of reflects his audience. Like, it shows us how, I don't want to say how stupid they are, but how ignorant they can be.
I think it just proves how bad, like I said, how bad they want to be right.
Yeah.
Like, people are saying, like, oh, you can't prove that a wall will work. Well, they're like, hey, man, we're going to get it done, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. It's what can we do is my biggest question, because I know that so many people have so many different concerns and we don't have any solutions to this. Like, sometimes we'll post the average complaint on Instagram or on Twitter, but what actual solutions do we have to this problem?
I don't know. I mean, for me, honestly, what I think is, well, for one, like you say, I think people should spend, especially politicians, should spend less time saying, like, this is bad, we
Right.
shouldn't do this, and instead come up with an alternative.
Yeah.
I think that, but me personally, I think for him, from how he's framing it and saying that the problem is that there are criminals and people in organized crimes and things like that come up, if that's really what the problem is, I think modifications or legalizations of certain drug laws would then stop the influx of organized crimes and things like that, because that's really where the problem is. It's not has nothing to do with Mexicans coming over and taking jobs. Me personally, I don't think that's where they're really upset about. They're upset because of the crime and the type of people that bring crime over here.
It's a deeper issue.
Yeah, so I feel like if they attack the laws and things like that, then you may see a difference in the type of people that can make it over.
Yeah.
Versus just building a wall.
We'll see, but again, man, that boy is something else. That's the only thing that I can say. That boy is something else, but we will see what unfolds from this, I guess.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Time will tell.
Shout out to Trump then, I guess, man. And speaking of Trump, man, now we're going to do random trivia questions. So add a little element. So hopefully on the screen, if we can get our editing skills right, there should be multiple choice popping up after the questions. And then in the comments, y'all can put down your answers, your responses, all that stuff. So for you guys, Tyrone, you can participate as well, man.
Okay.
Trivia question. How tall is President Trump? Option A, 5'11". Option B, 6'1". Option C, 5'10". Option D, 6'3".
Well, I feel like he's not 6'3". I feel like that's a little much.
Okay.
6'3" would probably put him at, I don't know, like a point guard type height. And I can't.
Yeah, he going to the league, baby.
But I think maybe, I'd put him at 6 feet even.
Yeah, he's 6'3", man.
He's 6'3"?
Yeah, see? Hey.
Wow.
You guys are going to learn on this show today. Educational stuff. But yeah,
that's
he's 6'3".
crazy. I mean, I can see that. I mean, they typically tend to say powerful people are tall or taller.
Yeah.
So,
He's
I don't know, maybe.
Shout out to Trump.
Wow.
But yeah, man, he's 6'3". So, next segment, man. Speaking of controversy, still again, our boy Chris Breezy, Chris Brown, a.k.a. Baby Michael. He has recently been in some legal troubles and, with the girl in France and all that good stuff. So, some people, conspiracy theorists, say that this is no coincidence because he got rights to his publishing a week prior to this day.
Right.
Which pretty much, because really what this simplifies is that's like someone working a 9-to-5 per se, but now they don't have to go to work, but they're still going to get paid.
Okay.
So he's getting his publishing rights. So now people can't monetize his stuff without his say. So there's no more of the 360 deals or someone controlling how he brings in money. So he has all this power now. And a week later, out of nowhere, rape allegations come up.
Okay.
Some people say that the powers that be may control this, especially him being a young black entertainer. And we've seen Michael Jackson go through this. Some people suppose that that's probably why he was murdered or how he died. Prince as well. So how do you feel about it, Tyrone?
It's tough to say, because it's definitely something that's really hard to prove, honestly, especially if there is this big shadow hand controlling.
The Illuminati.
Yeah. I don't know. And Chris Brown is one of those figures in a situation like this where it's kind of, because of his past, even outside of abuse, just legal problems in general, it's hard to do that. But, and then now with, things coming out about the woman, her story changing up a lot and things that,
That's scary.
But I think to address what you're saying, it's hard to say. I think it's hard to say that it's a conspiracy because, nowadays we're seeing anybody is capable of doing these quote unquote atrocious things. And anybody is capable of it. So I can't put anything past anybody nowadays. Like, anybody's a suspect.
Straight up.
I think what that whole situation was, just on how the female described it. I feel like it's a problem in how there's a lot of breakdown in communication between men and women when it comes to these sexual and interpersonal type of moments. There's a lot of gray area.
Yep.
And I think that gray area leaves a lot of room for women and men to make claims that certain other things happened when it may not have happened that way. But then again, somebody can perceive it one way.
That's it.
So,
that's it.
Let's see.
Honestly, Tyrone, and see, guys, we love you guys so much. We tried using a camera today, but side note, I think that what's going to make this show dope, we're going to go audio for this one. We're going to go visual for the next one because we want to give you guys fire, but we're trying today. Our tripod broke. SD card, we had to find one. We have been struggling for you guys, but the fire is still gonna come. I promise you guys that.
No fire festival.
No fire festival. No why. Fire with an I. But but Tyrone, I feel you, man. And since we're now gonna be on audio, we're probably gonna go even deeper now. But it's somewhat creepy too, because I think that we see like similar patterns, and I don't like how people coin everybody who questions things a conspiracy theorist. Because I think a conspiracy theorist, to me, personally, is somebody who questions something, but they don't really have answers as well. Or if they question something, it's off of a YouTube source or it's off of, all these like random things. But I think as well, especially as young journalists, when we see something that doesn't look right, then I don't think that makes you a conspiracy theorist. It just makes you someone who thinks. So again, to me, this could be a coincidence somewhat, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Because the scary thing about conspiracies or just conspiracy theories in general is that some of them are true.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that some of them are true, it then opens the door for all these other ones. Because I'm pretty there are document cases of the government or these black hands trying to tear down influential black figures.
Yes,
and things like that.
COINTELPRO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can't put it past anybody that happened, but then at the same time, it's like, I don't want to be living on edge, and every little thing that happens, I'm like, oh, the government's
They're trying to hold us back.
Exactly.
I feel you, and I think that that's a thin line, too. It's scary, though, because I don't want for us to be too woke, but I don't want for us to be too asleep at the same time.
Exactly.
I don't want for us to, like what they say sometimes, like it's okay to take a nap, because being woke 24/7 is a lot. And again, seeing this with Chris Brown, it was just crazy timing. Because he was being celebrated for this. He was being acknowledged for this. And knowing just in a short amount of time, rape allegations come up. It's like, whoa. That was pretty fast. Yeah,
and then just how quickly people's opinions and narratives changed about him all of a sudden. Because I'm a frequent user of Reddit. And the Reddit community is leaning towards the we don't like Chris Brown.
Wow,
Any story that comes up about Chris Brown, if it's not already a story that's damaging him, the first comment will be somebody just reposting the police report from the Rihanna thing. Like, they just post it verbatim.
It's crazy.
And it's just like, don't ever forget that this man did that and this. So when this came out, people were just automatically like, oh, this guy again, like why can't we be done with him, throw him in jail, yada yada yada, and now everything.
It's chess, not checkers, baby. So I mean, I'm like at a loss for words because it's just weird. Because again, we see somebody who got his publishing rights, someone who is becoming independent. He's young. I think Chris is still under 30, or he's like 29.
Yeah, or he might be 30.
So, I mean,
or
bro, that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah,
having rights to your publishing.
He's the youngest person to do it.
Because I think Michael got his before he died almost.
I don't even think he owns. Does he own his publishing?
Well, not anymore.
Does the Jackson estate even own
Not
that?
anymore.
Yeah.
Sony does now, which is weird because that's who he was signed to, and they had the whole, man, it's a wild world. So I think that really too, man, what a lot of people have to discuss and give knowledge on is that we have to be careful, men, women, whoever, when it comes to dealing with people, even if it's the same sex couple, heterosexual, biracial. At the end of the day, races, all that stuff, like we have to understand that you have to move perfectly almost, because any type of gray area that can be exploited in the future, that can be turned against you to say he did this to me, he touched me wrong, or he raped me. So I think that especially if you're bringing in X amount of income, man, you have to move differently. And someone said this, which is true, but Chris Brown now has to realize you cannot be messing around with females like that anymore, or if you do, you have to talk to this girl for a long period of time before you even allow her in your home or even have sex, like anything. So Tyrone, like for yourself, what type of things do you try to do, if possible, to avoid situations like that?
I'm adopting, or I subscribe to the belief that honesty is key. So I believe if from the very jump, no matter what your intentions are, I think you should be upfront, open with those intentions. Not immediately, like don't just walk up to someone and just blurt out what you want to do, but with appropriate timing and conversation. I think the perfect thing to do is to just let your intentions be known. Like let the person know that you're talking to that, okay, I'm feeling this vibe, and this is where I'm hoping this would go, or this is what I'm trying to get out of this relationship or whatever. And you have to be mature enough to accept whatever the other person says, whether they want to or whether they don't want to. And I think that's just really what it comes down to. And I understand that, especially when it comes to power dynamics, if you're this fan of Chris Brown and he asks you to come backstage or come to his hotel room, there will be some sort of power dynamic. And I understand that, sometimes you are put into these situations where you kind of don't want to say anything because you don't want to seem out of place,
right? Or
you don't want to seem like you're not cool or whatever like that.
Right.
But you have to speak up, though. You just have to let, if you're not feeling comfortable, let the person know, like, hey, I'm not cool with this situation right here. I would appreciate it if we could do something else, or if I could leave. So I think that's what it is. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with your partner.
That's it, man. And I think R. Kelly's situation as well, with the same thing, man. Honesty, accountability. That's a big one. Like, we don't hold everybody accountable. Because even with seeing those girls, we don't hold their parents accountable or their guardians. Like, the parents literally said, I think it was the father, but he said that he knew about R. Kelly's reputation and that he heard about the sex tape. And this is in 2015, so it's like, bro. Because I remember growing up, we used to
make jokes about
I Believe
that.
I Can Fly, and then we used to say, I peed in the sky, or something like that. So it's like, as kids, without us even seeing it, we still knew about R. Kelly. So I think that the fact that we didn't hold these parents accountable when they knew about his reputation, he was showing you the signs, your daughter was going over to his hotel room to get interviewed, but you allowed her to still stay around him. So don't act surprised when he does what he's already told you who he was as a person. This man has called himself the Pied Piper of R&B. And for anybody who's not familiar with this story, Pied Piper played his flute at the top of the mountain, and he pretty much hypnotized all the kids, and they came to the top of the mountain and they left their parents. So I'm just like, man, this guy told you who he was, and I get it, he is a monster, I completely agree, but at the same time, the same energy that we had towards R. Kelly, you gotta have the same energy towards the parents too, because you gotta still know what your child is doing.
But the thing is, what I hear as a counteract to that, people would say that part of the reason why R. Kelly was allowed to do what he did for so long, and really shout out to Joe Budden podcast, this is where I got
my man Joe Budden.
But you have to understand that R. Kelly was a hit machine.
Facts.
Like for the 90s, early 2000s, dang near every song he put out was that song.
He was the man.
And when you make hit songs like that, like honestly, being a musician, you can make one hit song and feed your whole family for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And this man was putting them out on the regular. So he's feeding a lot of people with these songs. Like he's churning out hits after
weddings.
Yeah,
graduations.
He's doing that, and then it's everybody in the production, like the people who work for the label, the
songwriters.
people, songwriters, producers. Everybody's getting money off of R. Kelly.
He's a cash cow.
So it's like you're gonna want to do whatever you can to protect that.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're put into a situation where people were like, they would go into the recording studios and they would see, girls who didn't look old enough, or
that was wild.
They had beds in there and things like that. And it's like, you don't want to say anything. Like, you want to say something because you're like, something doesn't quite feel right here. But at the same time, you're like, if I say something, he may fire me or he may kick me out.
Up,
and that's a check I don't have.
Straight up.
So I can see why people don't want to put the parents and all these other people at complete fault, because it's like, he's holding that over you, basically.
Yeah.
You're like, you're put into a position. But then it comes back to the, like, do you, you're putting your child in that position.
You're pimping out your kids.
Yeah, so there's a lot of factors at play, honestly.
And I think, too, man, that's why it's so important, just nowadays especially. If you're going to be a single man or if you're going to be a single woman, just make sure that the people who you talk to or the people that you're around are good people. And even if you think that they're good people, still keep one eye open, because as we see, man, somebody can turn anything, or even if it is true per se, you can get yourself in a heap of trouble very, very quickly. So you just got to be smart. You got to be smart. That's the biggest thing, man. Got to be smart with these girls out here. And men and women with the men, and women with the women, men with the men. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Got to be smart, because we don't want to survive in Caleb or survive in Tyrone. Type of documentary coming out.
No, I don't want that.
So that would be crazy. And trivia question as well. So since we don't have the visual element yet, I guess we're going to find a cool way. If you guys want, in the comments, just drop your answers and things like that. But Tyrone, if you want to take another shot, man, let's see what you got.
Okay.
So, trivia question. What year did Chris Brown's debut album come out? Option A, 2004. Option B, 2005. Option C, 2008. Option D, 2006.
Let's see. I'm trying to put myself. So I remember.
You're trying to envision memories and things like that. Yeah.
So I want to say Yo came out when I was in
fourth grade.
I want to say it was the third grade.
Fourth grade.
I want to say it was third grade, because I can imagine myself in class and all the girls and all the girls.
Excuse me, miss.
So what year was that in when I was in third grade? So that had to be 2000 and.
Let's see if you can get it.
I want to say 5?
Yes, sir. My boy got it. Okay, Tyrone.
Let's go.
My boy put out the nostalgia and everything. So, yes, sir. Came out in 2005.
That's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
And he was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And he was on top of the world.
See? And he's still here.
Yeah.
Consistency, man.
Yeah. He's been through a lot, but he's here. He's still here.
He's the real king of R&B for our generation.
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Right, exactly. But we told you guys are going to learn on this podcast, on the statement. It's the signal. We still got to keep it educational, entertaining as well, edutainment. So, man, the Super Bowl is coming up, Tyrone.
Yeah, man.
And it is affecting us straight up, too, because, like, we're right here in the city.
Yes.
You said Tom Brady. So what's up with Brady, man?
He is too much, man.
Oh, you think so?
I hate him, but I have to respect him. And I can't. Now, let me preface this. My sports knowledge is very surface level, and it doesn't really go, like, in depth anywhere past 2014, maybe. So, but throughout that time, even when I was just a surface level football fan, I knew Tom Brady was just, or the Patriots were basically like the default team of
Couldn't
the
beat
NFL.
them.
Like,
could not beat
they
them.
were always in the playoffs.
Yep.
Every team had to at least play him in the AFC Championship.
Yep.
Like, they were the final boss of the NFL, essentially.
Yep. That's it.
And sure enough, on, what was that, Sunday?
Yes. Yep.
Last Sunday, Tom Brady did it again.
Yep.
With all the way into overtime.
Yeah.
and now they're back in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And then joining them is going to be the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
After a controversial game with the New Orleans Saints. Very, very controversial. Did you get a look at that game?
Watched it live from start to finish. It was a fire game. Now, my only thing is with all these Saints fans, I feel their pain, but it would be different if the game ended like that. Playing devil's advocate. If we actually analyzed the whole entire game, Jared Goff, his face mask was pulled multiple times. There was holding calls that were missed that the Saints did. So it kind of went both ways. It was just, that was such a pivotal one, and it was in the fourth quarter, so everybody's watching. Also, think about this, and a lot of Saints fans aren't being honest with themselves. You can cry, which is cool, but you got to be honest. All right, so the penalty happens. They still make the field goal. You're up by 3. It's like a minute 30 left. Or it's probably like a minute 58. 2 minutes pretty much. The Rams made a 65-yard drive with a minute and 58 seconds left and made like a 50-yard field goal.
Wow.
Coming from the 20.
Yeah.
So it's like all you had to do was just stop them 3 times or 4 times, and you would have won the game in regulation. The game goes into overtime, right? You win the coin toss, and you get the ball first. You get a few first downs, but then what happens? Drew Brees throws an interception. That's not the ref's fault. Like, I get it, that was a bad call, but there's always bad calls in sports.
Yeah.
And, again, it'll be different if the game ended that way. But it was so much more football left after that call.
Right.
So that's my only thing with it. Like, I get it, it was a bad call, but at the same time, you had plenty of opportunities within that minute and 58 seconds to not allow them to get in field goal position. And they're starting from the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
And then after that, it goes into overtime, and you get the ball first. So it's like, I can't feel sorry for you.
Yeah. I think what the big thing about it is, to Saints fans, I think what's so insulting about it is how blatant of a foul it was. And it was like, it wasn't even just one foul. It was like a pass interference. Yeah. There was a targeting. Yeah. There was a helmet to helmet.
It was 3-1. It was 3-1.
And there were two refs literally standing right there and just were like,
that's facts.
Nope, incomplete pass.
That's facts.
So
I'll give you that.
And then, like you said, had that call went through, the game would have been over, basically. They probably would have took the ball, because they would have been basically at the 1.
That's ball game.
Kneeled it maybe, and then finished it out.
Yeah.
Ball game. But I can honestly say, though, as an Atlanta fan, I'm glad that the Saints did not make it.
That would have been terrible.
Oh, my God. We never would have heard the end of it.
That would have been terrible. We won a Super Bowl in your city, too?
And then it would have been Patriots, Saints in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, as a Falcons fan in recent history,
the Patriots came back and beat.
That's a lot to take on. I feel like most people would have went for the Patriots just because we can deal with that sting, but the Saints winning, we'll never hear the end of that.
That's it.
But I personally wanted Rams, Chiefs.
Me too.
And if I wasn't gonna get that, even though I don't want that, I would have wanted Brady Breeze.
That's what I said.
As a showdown.
That would have been dope.
Yeah.
That would have been dope, but not in Atlanta.
But yeah, it just couldn't have been Atlanta. It couldn't have been here.
Next year, maybe.
Yeah,
but
maybe next year, but not it's a little too much.
Tyrone, man, question, and I have a great concern. So seeing all these people with the Super Bowl coming in, seeing these new apartment complexes coming up, do you believe possibly that this could be a precursor for gentrification in the city of Atlanta?
Absolutely. I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, because this is definitely going to be one of Atlanta's economy's best days or best weeks, probably for the up until like Christmas. So, and you're definitely going to draw in a lot of more attention, more tourism, and things like that. And it's so crazy. I've even seen it happen, like just them fixing all these little things, like just trying to make MARTA look really nice in areas. Like the floors are so shiny now and all that.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and it's like, who you fooling?
And got to keep that same energy that we had.
Yeah, but I definitely do see it, and I can see it, especially me living. I live in the suburbs, like in Sandy Springs.
Okay.
And you can see it happening there. Like you can see it spreading. Even up in a suburban place, they're trying to make that more of an urban-like town. And they're building all these high-rise apartments and things like that. And even for a suburban place, they're raising the prices and having people to move out.
That's it.
But my thing is, like, who are they? Like, who's moving in? Are these just people not from Atlanta?
I think what they're expecting is for these people that's coming from LA, these people that's coming from Boston, or, just people that's coming in from every single city that you can possibly think of, that just like the Olympics, it's going to be like, man, Atlanta is a dope vibe. And I think that also they're going to realize that the cost of living is so much more cheaper over here. So they're building these without any guarantee, but with a lot of expectation, possibly, of just saying, we know for a fact that these people, just like the Olympics or whenever, after this happens, it's going to be a big boom and people, they're going to want to move over here. My only fear is just looking at the old Fourth Ward, or looking at the Beltline, or looking at Auburn now. Like, these historically black areas, or historically places of color, are now changing into the upper echelon, upper white middle class areas. And, you know, I'm all for diversity, but that's not true diversity. That's when we're kicking out people, because just speaking facts to the same thing, on, I think it was Friday night, I'm driving back home. I stay at 112, and when I'm driving up on Cortland, no lie, man, I kid you not, there were 6 police vans, and they were picking up homeless people. And again, saying the same thing that you were saying, how MARTA looks different. They're pushing out all the homeless people now. So now when people tour and they go to Woodruff Park, they won't see homeless people. Or when they go to CNN or Coca-Cola, Georgia State, Peachtree Street, you won't see the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're just only going to probably see the great and the great. So,
but my thing is, where do they take them?
Some people say, because we actually talked about this in history class and African American studies too, I think, but they take them to the, I don't know how to describe the suburban areas, but the black suburbs. So they'll take them like Fairburn, Clayton County,
and they just
South
like drop
Fulton,
them off
and drop them off.
You're free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I can understand where, from an economic standpoint, I understand why gentrification happens. Like, it's just would you say it's like a natural progression of just like an economy of a place? Like,
and honestly speaking, we live in a capitalistic society. So from that standpoint, from that capitalism mindset, it's not wrong. But morally it is. But if we're talking about somebody has to be on top, somebody has to be on bottom, people make more money over time, and that gap continues to widen, eventually these wealthy people need places to live as well. So if they can afford to financially kick you out of where you live, and they can make the place look better and bring up the cost of living, then that financially makes sense. So from that mindset is right, but morally it's wrong. But morals doesn't matter when you don't have any money in your pocket. So it's like, it is what it is.
But basically what I'm saying is, it's like, can we stop it? Like, is it something that's just going to happen? I feel like
it's so inevitable, because at the end of the day, think about the stadium that was built. Like, we're willing to build sports stadiums but not use that same money towards homelessness. Or we're willing to, I don't know, like, build a wall, and we're not willing to fix Flint. So I think our priorities has always been like that. Well, I don't want to say our, but the 1% has always been like that, because if they are helping out that bottom class, then they don't have anybody who has to work for them anymore. And I remember, man, I was talking to this guy named Kevin yesterday, and he was dropping some facts, man, because he was just saying, at the end of the day, too, what people have to know this as well is that even in school, when we're taught, if you think about it, they only want for us to be smart to a certain level, and only a few out of the group is going to ascend to college, is going to ascend to a nice paying job, but the vast majority are going to be educated enough so they can be the best workers, not the best businessmen, not the best CEOs, any of that. Because if we have all these people that are financially literate or know how to make money like the 1%, then you don't have anybody to work for you anymore. So it's just like having all the slaves reading a book and finding out that they aren't really a slave, but, you know, all of this is like mental. Imagine if all the slaves told the slave master, nah, bro, I'm out. And they just walked away, and he's like, who's going to do all this cotton for me? Who's going to raise this corn and do all this? And he's not going to do it, because that's too much work for just one person. So that messes up the whole economy. So it's crazy. It's crazy, but we'll see, man. But I think that, again, for everybody, because by the time this is posted, because this is supposed to snow, we're filming this on, the 28th? So this is probably going to come out next Monday. But if you guys are listening to this now, then we already know. But after this Super Bowl, I think that people need to keep their eyes open just to see how our city changes, because I think that it's going to change a lot.
Yeah, and because we're coming off of, like, or we're going to be coming off of, like, a three-peat, because just last year we had college football playoffs. Then this year we're having the Super Bowl. Then next year we're having the Final Four, NCAA.
Wow.
So that's going to be next year. And then who knows what's going to happen in between there. I read recently that Atlanta got approved. This is further in the future. This is probably like 2026, I want to say. Atlanta is probably going to be hosting a semifinal of like the World Cup.
Wow.
So
the Olympics soon, probably again, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a high possibility.
I don't know. But, Atlanta's definitely going to be rising and rising. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, especially now with film.
Yep.
It's so crazy. Just yesterday, I think I was walking to class, and I was with another classmate of mine, and we saw a young jock, and we literally didn't even care.
See?
Like, we just walked by him, and was like, oh. And I was like, wow, man. I told her, I was like, point. Atlanta's really the new Hollywood. I'm like, we just saw someone who, had it been 5-6 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, for young jock at least.
Fourth grade for us.
Yeah, but seeing any celebrity or whatever, you just are like, whoa, like, oh my God. But now it's like, there used to be this song I used to always hear when I was a kid. It's by, it's called like Felix the House Cat, but it's a song called Everybody's Someone in L.A. Wow. And that was back in that time. Everyone in LA basically is someone. Like, you can't, like, it doesn't matter. Somebody will say, do you know who I am? It's like, what do you do, bro? Do you make music? Do you make, you have a script or something? Like, everybody in here does it. And
straight up.
That's basically what Atlanta is now. Everybody is somebody. Like,
everybody does music.
Everybody does music. Everybody has a script. Everybody has projects they're working on.
Tyrone, I know you get annoyed by this. Everybody thinks that they're a real photographer.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you probably get so annoyed with that.
Yeah, or even just that term, real photographer, because it's like, you know, I don't know, but at the same time though, it's a beautiful and healthy environment. Yeah. Because like, especially in Atlanta, because versus in LA or New York where everybody's somebody, everybody's kind of like for themselves. Yeah. Nobody wants to. Everybody's just trying to come up on their own. But I think in Atlanta, we've definitely mastered the whole like community of like, okay, you do this and I do this. Let's come together and let's see how we can make this work. And you got a friend that does that too? Bet, bring him along as well. Yeah. So I think that's just where Atlanta succeeds in that. But yeah, Atlanta's definitely it's real life Wakanda. As Killer Mike has said.
It's the Black Hollywood, man.
Yeah, man. So
that's it. So we will see, man. And I think again for all the tourists and stuff that they need to understand that Black people made Atlanta fly. Like since, and I know we had the visual element, but W.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey used to come down here, John Wesley Dobbs, like we can just keep going, MLK, like this is the hub. Alonzo Herndon, one of the first Black millionaires, was on Auburn Avenue. Georgia State Honors College was his building.
That might have been a question you just answered.
See? So, I mean, it's crazy because there's so much history around us. I just don't want for that to be forgotten. So Coca-Cola is having a free tour the whole month of February for their, Civil Rights Center. So it's free for the whole Black History Month. So really? I think that's really dope. Yeah, it's a free tour. So I might have to check that out because, I mean, it's free. So I think that's really cool because only thing is gentrification is going to happen, but the tiniest thing I want is for us to just realize how much Black people and people of color have contributed to this city. Because Atlanta wouldn't be cool if it wasn't for Black people. In sports as well, like Deion Sanders and stuff, Dominique Wilkins. Like, these people made Atlanta sports look cool. So, yeah, man, that's it. So I think that we got to check that out. But Tyrone, man, what can you possibly see Atlanta looking like in the future?
In the future, let's give a time frame. How long do you say?
Let's probably say like 5 years.
In 5 years? So what, that'll put us at 2024?
Yeah.
So I see Atlanta in 2024 being, I feel like it'll be the main staple place of filming. I feel like it'll probably be more exclusively here than it is in LA. The things will be getting filmed. I feel like, the music scene, honestly, I feel like it may be oversaturated by 2024. Yeah. I feel like a lot of the cream will have risen to the top. I feel like we'll be deep into our LA replication. We'll be deep into it where there'll be people, so many starving artists out here where it's like you don't even like, you just won't care anymore. As far as like commerce and structure and things like that, I feel like Atlanta's always going to be the land of the potholes. I feel like Atlanta will always be
potholes, boy.
I feel like the traffic will always be bad.
Trash.
especially now with more people coming in. And I think MARTA, maybe they will have that extension plan at least in production by then.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what Atlanta looked like 5 years from now.
I completely agree with you, Tyrone. And my boy, before we get out of here, I got 2 last trivia questions for you and for our audience as well, man.
I think you answered one of them.
Probably did, man, but we're still going to throw it out there. What is the name of the African-American self-made millionaire who owned the Atlanta Life Insurance Company, which is now the GSU Honors College? So for all the people Tyrone and I already know, he knows it now. But option A, Booker T. Washington. Option B, John Wesley Dobbs. Option C, W.B. Du Bois. Or option D, Alonzo Herndon, man.
I'm going to have to go with Alonzo Herndon.
Ding, ding, ding. So, I think Tyrone only missed one today, and that was Trump, of course. Agent Orange, man. He was the only one who got you. So, last one. Besides Tom Brady, what NFL legend also shares the record of the most Super Bowl rings with 5? Option A, Charles Haley. Option B, Troy Aikman. C, Joe Montana. D, Jerry Rice.
Let's see. My gut wanna.
Don't go with the obvious ones.
Yeah, my gut wants to say Joe Montana.
Right.
But Joe Montana.
He's close.
Who did he play for?
San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, yeah, he was with Jerry Rice. Okay. So I don't think it's them because they won all their rings together. Did they?
Joe won 4. And I think Jerry got 3 because Jerry got his last Super Bowl ring with Steve Young. That was like in 1994.
Okay, so yeah.
See, hey, I'm helping y'all out, man. I'm helping y'all.
So, and then who were the other ones?
Charles Haley, who played for the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, or Troy Aikman, who played for Dallas in the 90s. Both of them played together as well in the 90s.
In the 90s?
Charles Haley played for both the 49ers and the Cowboys. Troy Aikman played for the Cowboys.
I'm going to go my man Charles.
The critical thinking is real. So, Charles Haley, I believe he got 3 with Dallas and he got 2 with San Francisco.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. You think Tom Brady's going to get that number 6?
If he gets 6 rings, bro, that is... We're talking about basketball rings, Michael Jordan rings in football.
That's what I want to say. So, a little off topic.
Yeah.
So, if Tom Brady is to win this Super Bowl, or even now, do you think you could make the debate that he is greater than Jordan?
I'm going to be real. Right now, Tom Brady, in my eyes, I love Muhammad Ali, I love Jordan, I love LeBron, I love Jesse Owens, you name him. Tom Brady's the greatest athlete ever. And I know athletic abilities, no.
Yeah.
But stats-wise, like, just simply think about this. This man will be playing in, his 9th Super Bowl?
9th Super Bowl. 18th year.
18th year. He's 41. I think he's played in, 13 AFC Championship games.
Yeah.
He has 10 straight division titles. And this is football. Football is designed for dynasties not to exist anymore. Because once they start creating free agency, salary caps, you can't see. Basketball is different. Basketball, you can supermax. You can pay all these players. Like Steph Curry's being paid $222 million. Klay Thompson is getting paid. KD's getting paid. Football, you can only pay pretty much one player, and everybody else is changing. So with Brady, he's had different receivers every year, different running backs, offensive linemen, different team every year pretty much, and he's going back. And think about the Seattle Seahawks. How much they've changed due to salary caps in just 3 years. Marshawn Lynch isn't there anymore. Richard Sherman isn't there anymore. Injuries. Earl Thomas isn't there anymore. Cam Chancellor. That whole team is gone except for Russell Wilson. Yeah. So the fact that Brady has found a way since we were in the first grade. No, probably since kindergarten, because he won his first one in 2001. And it is 2019. Let me just say this as well. This is so ironic, too, because Brady's first Super Bowl ring came against the Rams. And Brady has been playing for so long that they were the St. Louis Rams. They had Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Greatest Show on Turf. All these guys are in the Hall of Fame now. And Brady is still playing.
That's so crazy, man. I hate this guy.
and again, even if you hate him, you gotta respect him. And I think Brady is the greatest athlete ever. And I think that is no debate, because if if he played any other sport, there would be no debate. I think simply because he plays quarterback and it's football and he's this old white guy, people are like, But I think that is even a stronger testament to his mind, is that he doesn't have all the physical tools. And he's still doing this. He's the greatest ever. Like, GOAT, it should be, of course, Jordan, but I think GOAT is now synonymous with Brady because he's 41.
Yeah.
And he hasn't declined. Like, honestly, and I remember when he first said that he was going to play till he's 45, everybody said he's crazy. No, like, I think that's a true thing.
It's very much possible.
He can play until he's 45.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He's something, man. Like, I just... And the funny thing about it is, I think that what he shows is that it doesn't really matter if you have that superstar on the team. It's like, for one, who has the overall better team, but it shows you how important the really most important positions are: QB and the coach.
Straight up.
Like,
you don't need anybody else.
Yeah, and you know, someone pointed out to me, I heard that wide receivers are basically like not needed.
That's a fact.
Like, you can't name me in the past, I don't even know how long, the last superstar wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. Even Tom Brady, the year he had a Super Bowl,
Randy Moss.
Yeah, the year he had an all-star wide receiver, didn't win.
Went to the Super Bowl, undefeated season.
Undefeated, but didn't win a Super Bowl.
And it's crazy, man, because I love my wideouts, but as well, who was it? Josh Gordon on the Patriots. You remember Josh Gordon, and a lot of people don't give Brady credit for this. Josh Gordon got kicked out of the NFL again for weed problems, but you remember Josh Gordon? He's a superstar receiver. And they're in the Super Bowl without him, which further proves that you don't need a superstar receiver. Gronk has been hurt. He barely gets the ball. He's throwing it to Chris Hogan and Julian Edelman, bro. I rest my case on that. Like, that is GOAT status. This man went to Kansas City, beat the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, who could drop 50 on anybody. It beat him. So,
last football thing. Do you think they should change the NFL overtime rules?
I was having the same conversation. I think that I like first touchdown. Reason being is, and somebody said it, and it's true, you are professional athletes, and if you can't stop somebody when it matters, that's your fault. Yeah. And I think what kind of made it funny too was with Brady when they played the Chiefs, and the Saints as well. When it showed, think about the Rams. They didn't get the ball first, but they got the interception, and they capitalized off of that. They did what a professional team is supposed to do. Okay. The Patriots on the other side. Think about Brady. I watched that game from start to finish too. When they played the Chiefs, it was 3rd and 10 4 times. 4 times, and they went for it on 4th down. Yeah. So it's like, for something like that, I can't feel sorry for you because you've had multiple opportunities. But one thing that does have to change, I will say this: if a team does score a touchdown, I changed my mind. You should still get the ball back, and I think that every team should get the ball at the 50. And if somebody scores, you have to match that. So if somebody scores a field goal, you can either score a field goal to tie it back up, go into second overtime,
or touchdown to win the game.
Me, I'm the type of guy, I would probably just go for it because I don't want to keep going and going and going.
Right.
So I think that both teams should get a try, but at the same time, I don't think it should be like college where you get the ball at like the 15-yard line, which is dumb. So I don't know, but it should change though. It should. Okay. But you remember growing up, I think a field goal, that used to win the game. Like, whoever scored first, which is crazy to me. But, that's how it was.
Yeah.
That's how it was. But, yeah, guys, man, we appreciate all the love, man. Make sure to subscribe, share, like. Tyrone, man, we're going to try to give him the visuals sometime soon.
Yeah, man.
We are trying. Like, today, man, it was tough. But much love, man. Stay focused. Much love, much peace, man. Stay educated.
Hey, man, have a good one, you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yes, sir.